interview Lord Stephan Christ. I've talked to him 3 or 4 times, and I've spoken with his followers and stuff. So it's a pleasure to meet
Awesome.
you.
Yeah, I'm sure you know, but I have his seal on my chest.
Yeah, is it the one that he mailed you?
Mail? No, it's a
Yeah, it
tattoo.
used to be. Yeah, and I know it's a tattoo, but usually he wouldn't allow people to like just download the image off of his website or whatever. He would have to like mail them like a proof copy or something to make sure that it was the actual mark. Is that still
Um,
not? Is that a thing or no?
well, I mean, he has a high resolution PDF that we used whenever we got it.
Okay.
But I was with him when we got it. Well, actually, I was with him, and then we were planning to get it. We scheduled it, and then he got arrested, and I got it while he was arrested.
Right on. So how long have you known Steven?
I met him online when I was 17. Um, I'm 21 now. I met him in real life at 20. And a year ago is when he was arrested. So, I've been waiting for a year to see him again, but I was living with him for about
Oh
a
shit,
month
we're
and a half.
making news. 17?
Can someone fill me in on concave Earth? I'm out of the loop on this one.
Yeah, light is refracted through a bowed glass prism, a celestial sphere. And so outer space is actually inner space, and the sun rise and set is actually an optical illusion due to light bending in a spectrum.
And what's the prevailing theory on Mars or the Moon or Jupiter or any of the other planets?
Yeah, Earth is not a planet. The wandering stars are vials containing liquid to be poured out at the end of time. The moon is a 7-mile wide half-sphere bowl, just like the sun. The sun is bridled by a high arm of light emanating out the north apex of the central octahedron, so you can only see its front side. You don't see the back of the sun because the light's perpendicular.
Now I know why people are against freedom of speech sometimes.
That's the best you got, Machiavelli?
I'm
Some
very back. I'm
snide
going to wash
comment?
off my face.
Some
Wash off
snide
my face
comment?
now.
So, is it
Good to see you
Her-mes?
too,
Am I
Concrete.
pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool. So you met Steven on the internet. Like, did you reach out to him, or did he reach out to you, or how did that happen?
Yeah, I Facebook messaged him. I actually asked him to curse me the first time I ever talked to him because I didn't do my own research. I had just found him, and I was trying, and I knew that the Bible said there was an Antichrist. So I'm like, so can you give me a verse that proves that the Antichrist is a good thing? Because you claim to be the Antichrist. And he was like, or what I said is, can you curse me so I can find out faster or something? And then he said, sure, this might help, and then he blocked me. And so then a week later, and then a week later, yeah, a couple weeks, like I was just ruminating on it, and I ended up making a video for him, just like a compilation of animations and drawings and stuff. And it was to a Pink Floyd song, the one "Learning to Fly." And I sent it to Steven, and he liked it, and I asked him to unblock me on Facebook, and then he did, and added me to his group of judges. So like the people that he would communicate at the time to help spread his ministry directly.
And so, did you? Were you a part of the live streams that he was doing, the unlisted live streams on? Oh fuck! I don't recall the website, but you know what I'm talking about.
Vaughn Live?
It wasn't Twitch. It was something else.
I think it's Vaughn Live, but I wasn't around. I wasn't around when he was still doing that. I was around when he was doing live streams on YouTube, but I was never like on video. I ended up doing my own live streams at one point, but that was like after he had stopped streaming, so it was just like a me thing.
Yeah, I met him in 2010. We sort of crossed paths on a forum on the internet.
Hey, sorry, my internet dropped. Didn't hear what you last said.
Yeah, I met him in 2010 on a forum, an internet forum.
Godlike Production.
And No, I don't recall the name of it. It's been since taken down, but it was about like eschatology and stuff like that. And this was I'm no longer a Christian, but this was back when I was a Christian, really interested in like end times prophecy and stuff like that, the 70 weeks stuff, you know, Ezekiel's wheel and shit like that. And he and I just started talking, and I interviewed him 3 or 4 times. Thought he was batshit crazy then. I still think he's batshit crazy, but when he's not talking about his batshit crazy ideas, he's a pretty personable guy. I get along with him just fine.
I mean, yeah, he's a great guy. I happen to believe everything he says, but yeah, he's a great guy. Would I happen to know of one of the videos that you guys might have recorded together?
Sorry.
Do you think I'd be able, like, off the top of my head, to remember a video that you guys recorded together? Your voice sounds kind of familiar, but I don't know. Like, do you remember?
Yeah,
a
so I
title?
used to go by the moniker Justin Martyr or Michael Atomos, and I interviewed him first as Justin Martyr and then as Michael Atomos on a YouTube channel. He mirrored that interview when we were talking about the Hovind theory, which is similar to his theory about the glass artifice, but of course, Hovind still thinks that the Earth is a planet.
Oh shit!
And
I know who you are. You're the one
yeah,
from the Hovind video. Yeah, the one
yeah,
where
that's
the
right.
camera's kind of below his eyes a little bit, and so he's looking over the camera. You know what I'm talking about?
Do you guys know how
Yeah,
to
that's
turn off join and leave notifications? The noise, it's like really annoying.
Yeah, it's in settings. Figure it
Oh,
out.
thanks.
It's not that hard.
Thanks. Real helpful.
Settings, notifications. Then you go find user join, user leave, and click it on and off.
Thank you.
But yeah, so that was 2013 when that was first recorded, and then so that was recorded in 2013. That was the first time that we spoke in voice. And I didn't tell him who I was on the forums because he and I had I pushed back on a lot of his eschatology, of course, and his claims, and challenged him biblically, and he and I had some fairly hostile exchanges on the internet forums. But I had been told time and time again that he was, very personable and nice when you spoke to him in real time, and he wasn't as snarky and aggressive in voice as he was in text. And so that's when he and I interviewed him for the first time as Justin Martyr in 2013 on my YouTube channel, and then he mirrored it, and then his original YouTube channel got taken down. I don't know if it was for copyright or it was a false flag campaign against him, or he actually did something that was fucked up on it and it got taken down. But then he re-uploaded all of his old videos to a new YouTube channel, and they had since been taken down.
Yeah, he's had to move multiple times. That
But yeah,
video
I'm the Justin Martyr guy.
that
Sorry?
video you were talking about was actually one of the first videos I ever saw of him.
My interview with him?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's he and I again, like, he didn't know that who I was from the forum. So I was already kind of familiar with some of his stuff. And I was trying to establish some rapport with him in a voice chat. We actually continued to have a couple of talks on Vaughn TV or whatever it is. And those turned out to be really enjoyable. After about 3 or 4 times of talking to him, he invited me to live streams, the unlisted live streams that he did. And those were pretty interesting because I was sort of shocked at how many followers he had.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
more people used to
I have a
at
question.
least him.
What is it about this Lord Stephan guy that he just can't get away from threatening presidents? What is that?
I think it's like he feels like he can only show his priorities if he uses threat of loss or lack. I feel like a lot of it's bluffs. But I feel like he feels like the only way to show that he cares about, like victims of abuse that are behind the scenes that could only be rescued through the abolishment of capitalism and the apocalypse. The only way to show that he cares about them is to not allow anyone to skirt the issue or pretend it's not real.
Well,
So he's threatened people in the past, and I have too. So I mean, no, I'm sorry for that. He's
it,
sorry for that.
he's also of the belief that we are currently in the millennial rule of Stephen Christ.
Hmm. So I mean, he believes that he is literally able to do anything, but he has values too, to where he doesn't want to hurt people, but he knows that he can use that threat to his advantage to send the message of judgment. But I feel like he's seen recently that mercy is more important than judgment. Obviously, judgment, you need it because there's a sectioning between dysphoria and euphoria, wrath and mercy. But Stephen wants to try to save as many as possible, so
I
he's
thought the
put away the
millennium.
weapons. He's put away
Sorry.
the weapons of words. Go ahead, right?
I thought the millennium commenced after you guys we all went to Pine Gap, Australia. When does the millennium started when he was born?
The millennial kingdom as a phrase is like when the octahedron descends and like stuff like that. But since we're already in the resurrection, like this is the resurrection, and that's just kind of how Stephen treats it. We're already in the era. We're on the precipice of the seventh day.
Right.
We are all
And
born
so,
again already.
Right. And so, as it was explained to me by Stephen, like the earthly ruler of the world is the president of the United States being the sole superpower, and so he looks at these people as encroaching on his what otherwise his purview, right, or his domain of reign.
Exactly. And as far as
He sounds like a territorial schizophrenic to me.
oh yeah, he's very territorial.
You don't think God would be territorial, Machiavelli?
If God exists, I don't know how he could be territorial when his entire domain is his creation. How would he be territorial over that if that's all there is? And he exists outside of that creation somehow. I don't know the exact Christian belief on that. I don't know. He's a jealous God, I know that much.
You just try taking dominion of heaven off of the Christian God and see how territorial he is.
So you say that you haven't met him in real life. Is that right? You were like intending to, but that didn't happen.
I did. Right? I lived with him for like 2 months. We had scheduled to get the tattoo while I was with him, but by the time that it was time for me to get it, he had already been arrested. Like it was within like a week. Because he asked Donald Trump.
Yeah, so this would have been July of last year that you guys started living together?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that much time had passed since I last spoke to him, because the last I knew, he had a booking appointment, and this was just all hearsay. The last I knew, he had an appointment to book himself in, but then I just recently learned that he was in jail and had been. What did they sentence him to?
Yeah, when does he get out?
He hasn't been charged because they're not letting him stand trial, because obviously he's claiming to be God. So it's kind of strange to them, the people there. They don't really know if they can charge him for crimes, because they're like, is that a mental illness? So they're just kind of sequestering him in a Butner, North Carolina mental health prison, I guess.
Have you visited him at all?
I'm unable to. When he was still in Texas before he transferred, I tried to visit. We were visiting him like during lunch, and we were taking him like burgers and stuff, but they stopped letting us in at one point. They said no entry.
Wait a minute. So when you lived with him, he was no longer living with his parents?
Yeah, no, we were in Texas. Because Stephen had gone all over the world at that point. Like he went over to Italy. He was living in Slovenia for a while. Then he came back to the States and went to Washington, D.C. to visit the Washington Monument. Then he picked up Travis and then met me in the middle in Texas.
What happened with his parents? Like, did that situation just fall out or what?
I mean, his parents are fine. I actually visited his parents after Stephen was arrested, because Stephen wanted me to go download some files from his old computer from his parents' house. So yeah, I visited his brother Mark and his mom, Nina. Mark was very aggressive and angry at Stephen for being arrested. Nina was kind of distraught and just depressed.
Yeah, that's probably a common
That's a good
reaction to having your son being arrested for threatening a sitting president.
She was like, Stephen is very smart, but I wish he would just keep his mouth shut. And then Mark would agree because they're Italian, so like they're very expressive. So he's like, yeah, that boy needs to shut the fuck up.
He's like, yeah, spaghetti and meatballs, lasagna.
They actually made me spaghetti, yes, coincidentally.
Oh shit. Knees weak, arms are heavy.
3
Did
minutes. Right back. I have to wash this face mask off my face before it gets too dry. 1 second. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Hello, freak bitches.
Are you
Yo, what up?